It ain't easy being Breezies. So I think that's the name of the little animals that Fluttershy was taking care of in that episode she was written out of. If that's the case, then this would be kind of weird if they just like made an episode that was entirely Fluttershy and none of the other characters, because like she went alone to this thing. Meanwhile, the what was it, the ceremony or something? Or no, it was the like wizard guy, and then there's like some party about that, and then Twilight and Cadence went to it, something like that. And Discord was sick, blah blah blah. So I guess this is just gonna be about Fluttershy though? I don't know. There actually hasn't been one of the special items in a little while. Cause what, Rarity got one, Rainbow got one, didn't another one get one as well? Right, it was Pinky's thing. So I don't think Applejack has gotten one, or Fluttershy or Twilight. So I don't know. I'm guessing this is gonna be the one where Fluttershy gets her thing. Still not looking forward to this at all. I mean, at this point, I really have just been saying the same thing over and over again, with the occasional episode where I'm like, okay, this had something. I mean, this really is just me saying, oh, yep, this was boring. This was shit. This is stupid. I don't like this. Like, I don't know. There's very rarely something, like, they very rarely make any kind of interesting point or perspective on something to talk about. Like, even if there's no overarching story, like something like Rick and Morty. Every episode of Rick and Morty, there is just some ridiculous, insane thing that it brings up and explores. And there's so much to talk about with a show like that. But then a show like this, I mean, is just the basic lessons. It's just the basic lessons and the characters being silly. I mean, that's it. There's not much to talk about at all. Okay, so I guess it's not going to be about when Fluttershy went on the train. I am bored. There's just something about how everything this show does is so painfully and unbearably slow and boring. It just feels so nothing. Like, that cold open is just them saying, okay, these breezes are coming through and they need to encourage them, but they need to encourage them quietly. I mean, it's a simple enough thing, and you don't need anything fancy for that, but it was just such a boring way to do that. It just feels so unbearably boring.
No magic means the pollen goes bad?
I don't know, this explanation just feels so unnecessary. Like, she's just saying, okay, this is why it's important. They're just saying that. There's no reason to care about them. They're just saying, oh, you need to care about them because it's important. They don't give you a reason for it to be important. I have nothing to say. I cannot think of one thing to say about this. It's just so dumb and boring. And I guess this one leaf is gonna destroy everything. I'm trying to think of something. Trying to think of anything to say. Like, okay, so she just saved a bunch of the Breezies. Okay? Like, really, I think all of this could have happened in, like, 2 minutes. And it's 7 minutes in right now. Like, this could have started with them in the town thing. And then that's when they could have given the exposition for talking about these breezy things. It's just so much of this could easily be condensed. And it's so boring. I guess now she's gotta take care of the Breezies, since they couldn't, go home. There's nothing to say about this. I mean, just like the last one, I've had no reaction. Nothing has been funny, sad, exciting, happy, enjoyable, interesting. I felt no emotion, no feeling. I am just dead inside on a whole new level. It actually kind of makes me wonder, like what do bronies look like when they're watching one of these episodes? Like, are they laughing nonstop, or like, does this kind of shit make them sad when they're like, oh, the Breezies are far from home. This guy just wants to go home? Because I don't know what kind of reaction you could even have to this, other than just like a straight face and saying nothing. I guess the rest of this episode is just gonna be them in Fluttershy's house, trying to not leave, and then Fluttershy is gonna have to realize that she has to let them go. Also, it seems like Fluttershy could just fly all the Breezies there, with them riding her. I don't know. Maybe I missed something in the ridiculous amount of exposition they gave about these things. The overly complex explanation as to how these things work and how they move around or whatever. It's 13 minutes in, and I feel like I've been sitting here for an hour. I guess this is supposed to be intense. He's flying on his own. That's dangerous or whatever. I guess these are kind of a creative thing, sort of, the Breezies. I mean, they're basically just insects, though, with big wings. They're basically butterflies with horse legs. What the fucking hell? Oh my gosh, this is so stupid. I'm starting to feel pain again. It's like there's this tiny rat, like, crawling around on the inside of my skull and just, like, nibbling at my brain, just slowly deteriorating it. Just little bits of my brain are just slowly corroding away. And at some point, my head's just gonna explode. Oh, messages. Don't be loud and mean. Wait, there's a little, like, shine thing on the wing of the Breezy. I guess I'm meant to be sad, because she liked the Breezies so much. I feel nothing. Oh, of course there's a spell. What, they're gonna turn into Breezies? I guess them turning into those things was somewhat unique animation.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, their voices are even higher pitched than normal. Because tiny things have higher pitched voices. I don't know, fuck, I don't care. This is so stupid. Oh no, the portal's gonna close. Oh no. Okay, yeah, they must not be intentionally increasing the pitch in the actual show.
Because, like, here, it's so obvious that that's what they're doing.
Okay, so this flower is gonna be the important thing with the rainbow shiny thing? No? Okay, so being too kind, that's the lesson. You can't be too kind. You sometimes have to push them to do stuff. It definitely doesn't need 20 minutes to do that, to say that lesson, but whatever. Okay, no, there's the shine on the flower. Fuck! This is another episode where I have nothing to say whatsoever. Like, as I said in the intro bit, there's really nothing that this show introduces or does that can be talked about. And with something like Avatar, there's a continuous story you can talk about. With something like Gravity Falls, there's the mystery elements. The Star, there's the story elements and the weird world. The Adventure Time, it's just so much absurdity and hilarious moments. With BoJack Horseman, F is for Family, Rick and Morty, these all bring up very interesting ideas and perspectives on things. Former two also tell a story. Like, there's things to talk about with those shows, but this show, I mean, it's just a basic lesson, except all the characters are ponies. And that's basically it. The lesson is that sometimes you can't just be nice, you have to push someone to do something. So basically, Fluttershy's preparing to help these little creature bug-looking things called Breezies, and then basically a group of them isn't able to make it, and then so Fluttershy takes them in while they like recover or whatever and get ready to go again, but then they don't want to leave, and then Fluttershy has to realize that she can't just be nice to them. She has to be a little strict and say, like, no, you're going, I don't care that you don't want to. And then they're all happy in the end because they left before this like portal closed, and if the portal closed, then they wouldn't have been able to get home. It was also just so boring. So little of anything, nothing of interest happened. I mean, really, not one thing. I didn't laugh, smile, frown, get angry, get sad, get happy, disgusted, confused. I mean, the plots were, I don't know. There was a bunch of overly complicated reasons why these Breezies were meant to be important. So I guess that felt confusing, but not in a good way, where it's just some insane shit happening. And I was thinking, like what's someone's like reaction who likes this? Like, what does their face look like when they're watching this, right? Like, what's going through their head? Like, I don't see how anything could be going through your head. Like, or like I can't think of anything that would be going through their head. I guess I could just look up a reaction. I know there's like a cajillion people who do reaction videos on this show. But yeah, it's just the basic story, but all the characters are ponies. I guess the Breezies were kind of unique. I mean, they're basically just insects with big wings and weird looking legs, but whatever. I give this 2 out of 10 yet again. The only thing this show has going for it is that it's, passable animation and voice acting. That's the only compliment I can give this, is that the animators and voice actors know what they're doing. They know how to, animate things correctly and give convincing voices as performances. That's the only positive thing I can say.